Hello, everyone. This is Isabel. I'm at ITW 2022. And today I'm joined by one of the legends of the industry. Eli Katz is CEO of XConnect. Eli, welcome to my hot seat. You're one of my favorite written victims.
Yes, I think it was about 3 years ago. I'm delighted to be a second-time victim. Hopefully you'll be as enjoyable as it was the first time.
I'm sure it will. So, Eli, you've been acquired by Somos almost a year ago. How is that working out?
It really has been almost perfect marriage in heaven. The logic between the two companies, the underlying DNA that really has fused the two companies together is that role of trusted information for global connections. We are both providers to the industry of neutral information. Between us, we have 1,000 plus customers, both in the voice space and in the messaging space. And our data sets cover right across the entire world, number portability, number validation. And between us, we're helping the industry develop to its next potential.
Good news. I'm really happy for you. So I know you're involved in fraud prevention a lot, and we've heard a lot about stir shaking in the US. There's been a lot of discussion and action around there, but I like to know the real stuff. Is it really working? Was it worth all the effort? Any real numbers that you can share with us that you've heard through the grapevines?
So that's a really good question. That's really pertinent to the entire telecoms industry, because the answer to that question is not simply from a US perspective, but actually from an international perspective. So many countries are now kind of exploring, don't they adopt the stir-shaken model? And the initial feeling that I've got from the street, so this is not definitive formal information, was a reduction in the robocalling, which is the headline driver behind stir shaken, of around about 10 to 15%, which may have been probably a bit lower than what the initial expectations were, given the cost to the industry could well be in around about the $500 million. But recent efforts by the FCC are looking to expand the remit of stir shaken and include elements of international calling, and that may further help improve the robocalling. So the model and the concept of authenticated calling is essential. The nuances of exactly the USA implementation remains open to be explored.
So I guess, when we were looking at stir shaking, we spoke to lots of international carrier, and it is mostly US centric. Do you think one day will become, is there going to be a global stir shaking? Do you think that's possible?
Truly a billion-dollar question. And let's run through the rationale of why the answer to that should be yes. So it's very interesting. The drive in the USA was because we want to reduce robocalling. It's true, robocalling is an issue worldwide. It's not a US problem. Everywhere else likewise suffers from it. Whether it's to the same degree as the USA remains to be seen. But there's a very important revenue opportunity that the industry is beginning to recognize at what authenticated caller ID brings. And that is something called rich caller identity. So for the first time, you'll be able to receive a call and up will pop that this is coming from your local bank, Barclays Bank, and it's with the Barclays logo and it's with the reason for the call. All of that beautiful information, wonderful opportunity to raise the entire bar, can only occur if the call has been authenticated. So the worldwide industry would love to have that ability to be able to deliver the next level of service. However, you need to have authenticated calling as the fundamental basis for that. So let's ask the question the other way around. Should the industry be adopting a authenticated global stir-shaken idea? The answer is yes. Should that happen? In practice, it's really complex. And I think the opportunities to learn from the USA experiment and the USA activity over the past year and say, how can we deliver that in the most cost-efficient basis possible? And we're working very closely with global standards organizations and technical and global transit operators to say how we can bring these authentication services to the masses in a way that actually benefits the end users and benefits the operators themselves.
Interesting. It's like watch this space for sure, and what's going to happen in the next few years. So you're the big boss of XConnect. I always think everything starts at the top. So what's your plan for XConnect to continue growing it into the future?
Thanks for that question. So I think we kind of see this developing in looking at the fundamentals. The foundations of XConnect and Somos is all about trusted information. So the whole role of us to the industry is where we can find and identify different data sets. So for instance, we'll give you some ideas of some new ones coming onto the scene. So the USA FCC has mandated a do not originate data list. This is a set of phone numbers which the enterprises like the banks have said, we never want these numbers to be seen as an A number, as a CLI. Likewise, Ofcom have just launched that capability recently, and this is really important. It will help bring back trust. All of this is about bringing back trust to global calling ID, and on that basis you can launch new services. So we see our role as helping to enable that on a global basis, kind of country by country and for global international, and delivering the goal of restoring trust to caller ID. And by the way, not just in the telecoms world. We're sitting here at ITW, but if you speak to anybody, both voice and messaging have the same challenges. We want to bring back that trust in the sender ID that you see. Once that is there, the world is your oyster. So our role is helping to enable that to happen in a carrier-friendly manner and deliver what the end users want as well. So that's a core development for us going forward.
I think it's good news. I'm happy to hear that, because I truly believe that the next decade will be all about trust, creating trusted ecosystems end to end. So people like you that empower trust, I think we need more of you. Thank you, Eli. As always, it was a pleasure.
Thank you very much, and look forward to the next opportunity.
Everyone, thank you for watching, and until my next hotshot.